Hey everybody, Adam Savage. I am in London at Propstore's beautiful warehouse full of insane goodies. Stephen, how are you, sir?
Very good, man. Very good. Good to see you.
I'm curious, before we start talking about this costume, are there specific actors for which you've handled more of their costumes than normal?
Wow, that's a random costume.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm
asking because we're looking at a Clancy Brown costume, and Clancy Brown is just like such a magnificently reliable villain.
Yes.
He's such an awesome bad guy.
Yeah.
And I was just curious if you'd handled a bunch of Clancy Brown costumes.
I don't think so. I mean, we've definitely had other iterations of this particular costume.
Okay.
So we've had stunt versions of this previously, which have had rubberized chest pieces and rubberized armor, and in fact, never as complete as this as well. I mean, that's what's really astonishing about this particular costume piece. Is it's the complete hero version of the suit.
This is,
yeah.
Because I've seen these show up in the catalog from time to time, but I didn't. So this is the original hero Kurgan armor from Highlander.
From Highlander, yeah, absolutely. And it just shines. It beams through when you look at every different facet of this, every component. So this was designed by costume designer Jim Atchison. I think he did an amazing job to create something that looks so organic, that could be pieced together, and so intimidating. And Clancy Brown, I mean, he's a big guy as well. And you put a big suit and big boots and a big helmet on top.
And the skull helmet. The skull helmet, as someone who loves helmets, Hollywood has done skull helmets numerous times. Never as good as this. This is the gold standard. And not only do we get skull helmet, we get skull pauldrons. These shoulders are also like panther skulls.
Yeah.
Although I still don't know what the hell that bone is.
Okay. We'll leave you to work that one out later on.
I didn't realize the snake scale on the armor here.
Yep, so that allows us to screen match this. Obviously, snake skin being on organic material means that it's absolutely unique. So it's like a fingerprint to it as well. So easy for us to screen match. The main armor itself is made of a resin fiberglass that's embedded with bronze powder, I would say, that allows it to be buffed up and then distressed and sort of give it that real depth to it as well.
And look really metallic.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the leather work here has been restored either. It looks pretty original to me.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, even the inside of the helmet, I mean, they did an amazing job. Even the inside of the helmet is leather lined as well for comfort.
Really?
Yeah, and you can't actually see it without looking really close up. Now you've got your torch in there. You can see that the ears have been drilled out so that he can hear on set.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So he's got you can see that through there. That's amazing.
When we first see him, he's actually on horseback, isn't he? So I'm sure that he's going to be given direction and that would be almost impossible.
Left.
That's
what?
Right. So there's a great detail to it there as well. And then this great mane of the sort of plumes that come off the back here as well, that just fall down behind it. And in fact, to be fair, I've said this is the complete costume. It is missing the one thing that you see when he's on the horse, which is the big cape that comes off the back. And I think that was just a sort of a latex sheet that just hasn't lasted. It hasn't survived.
Right. The leather work on the collar here and on the sleeve is incredibly intricate for something made to look like it's been worn for decades. It's
barely visible. I mean, for the amount of work and detail that's gone into that as well.
Super beautiful when you get into the detail. Incredible. And over here, like this, is just. The chainmail is real steel.
Yep, you've got real metal chainmail on here, and then you come down, you've got these sort of great brass plates that are all through here as well, right the way down the leg armor. You sort of got like a suede leather element to the leg armor here.
Don't you imagine that each one of these pieces of armor is the spoils of a battle he won and put it on himself just to, brag about it?
It's a bit like the Predator, isn't it? It sort of takes a piece of something he's killed. It's like a trophy, isn't it?
I really see a lineage between the Predator and the Kurgan now that there's one standing back there, dude.
That's right. You're not wrong.
That's incredible. And these... Again, I had also not copped to this like spine on the leg brace.
Yeah, you've got this really organic. I mean, this is very almost Giger-esque, isn't it?
It truly is.
There's sort of some alien elements to that, which are sort of coming through on it. But again, you've got a couple of teeth up here. I mean, what's that? The fangs off something? It's like snake fangs almost, isn't it? Jawbone here.
Oh, and the same kind of beautiful leather work here with a great pirate boot detail. That totally tracks. I know you guys are often displaying and talking about spectacular one-off pieces, but this has to be in a category of its own.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the person who tracked down all the elements of this over about 15 years.
Ah.
Yeah. So this has actually come together over many, many years. I've owned it now for as a complete costume for probably about 10 years. And it just took me forever to find all the pieces because a lot of them went back to rental houses, and it meant that they were going out on other productions. Some pieces ended up with producers and other people who are affiliated with the film production. And so over the years, it just went to the four winds.
Wow.
And so it's not like this has lived together like this forever since the production. It was a major piece of work to bring it back together.
So let me ask you about the shoulders. Did you find those separately or together?
The shoulders came together, yeah.
I would imagine that when you got the shoulders together and the first time you brought the shoulders near the mask, you were like, hello.
Well, the mask came very late to me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I had a replica on this for many, many years. The Robert Alsop, who's a really talented prop costume maker, he had the molds for the original molds for the helmet and still has them, I believe. And he made me a beautiful replica to sit on top of that. And that's when this was still a partial costume.
Yeah.
But then eventually the original helmet became available. It actually turned up at another auction house in Los Angeles. And that was the moment. It was like putting the original helmet with the rest of the original suit.
It must have been a moment.
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
Was there any time you were looking for a costume piece and you recognized it, but the people who had it didn't know what they had?
No. Well, I suppose... No, I think there was always an understanding of what it was, but just perhaps not the significance, because when you take a component part of this out of the context of the whole suit, it doesn't look as impressive, it doesn't mean as much. But for me, it was just like trying to piece a jigsaw puzzle together. And actually, we should talk about this for a second as well.
Yeah, the coin slot.
Yeah, the coin slot. Off you go.
You put it in to turn on your Kurgan.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, do you understand what that might be, or do you ever got any thoughts about what that might be?
Oh! When he gets stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Ramirez shot at the top of the tower. So when he thinks that he's killed him, and if you take this off, and it's very difficult to get it off, so we're not going to do this on camera today, unfortunately, inside there is the remnants of a blood pack as well. So they obviously had an effect shot, where he was driving it in, blood comes out, he thinks he's killed him, and then he takes his head off.
Dude.
Yeah. It's wicked, isn't it? So beautiful, beautiful suit. So again, scene specific for this piece as well.
That is incredible. I just imagine this belt being rented out by some prop house going, oh, look, it's Kurgan's belt, and renting it for 20 years.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's exactly that sort of thing.
That stuff actually happens. I'm really just blown away by it.
Well, I think it's one of the opportunities that we have for pieces like this to still surface.
Yeah.
When we're hunting for things and we know that doesn't reside in a studio archive, or we know that it doesn't reside with perhaps a key member of the production, it's like, well, where did it go then? Yeah. And in some real world items, the likelihood is they've probably just been disposed of, they got rented and re-rented and thrown away. But something like this is interesting enough, the sort of fantasy element of it is interesting enough where items might still sort of be used for other productions and not be so identifiable that they just can't put them on camera. So they sort of live on.
Crazy.
But yeah, it's nuts that it's all together now.
Is there one piece that was the hardest part to locate?
That's a good question, but I think the piece that I desired the most was going to be the helmet.
Of course.
To finish it, even though I had this wonderful replica.
So when you saw that in the auction catalog, you're probably like, ah, crap. I gotta go get that one.
I did, but it didn't actually work that way. That auction was actually won by a friend of mine who wanted it. He knew that I had a 2/3 complete suit, and it basically came with at that time it came with the rubberized bodysuit, the real helmet, and it came with 2 leg guards. Oh. And he only ever wears one. And I didn't have a real one. I had a replica of that at the time. So my mate was like, look, I want the rest of it, but we can do something with the leg guard. So that's how I got the leg guard for it. And then, subsequently I managed to work something out with the helmet as well.
I love the kind of horse trading that happens in our hobby.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stephen, it is an unparalleled piece, and I feel so delighted to get to stand next to such an iconic costume. Incredible. So the auction at which it will hopefully find a new custodian is coming up.
I mean, it's one of these things that I've owned for so many years, and I've loved it. It's actually been a corner piece in my office for, at least 10 years before that, in its many different guises and components.
So it's almost like your emotional support Kurgan.
Yeah.
When I have something I love in my office, it's very hard to pull it out because it just becomes a part of my daily routine.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, it's time. and with what I do for a living and the fact that I'm still a very active and passionate collector, it was just like, okay, well, maybe it's time I've pieced it all together. I've been on that journey with it. I've loved owning it, and maybe it's time for it to find a new home. So the auction takes place 14th to the 17th of November. Registration is live right now, so you can register at propstore.com, and this will sell on day one, which is on the 14th.
Day one is going to be a heady day for costumes and props.
It's a beauty. It's an absolute cracker.
Stephen, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. We have some brand new merch available at the store. A dog's age ago, I mean like 2018, 2019, this wonderful graphic designer named Brian Otterer reached out to us and sent us some stickers. He has a design firm called Dash 3 Dots, and we loved his stickers so much we wanted to sell them on the merch store. Well, he updated them with our new logo, and we've got Adam in the Martian spacesuit sticker. We've got Adam in the shuttle suit sticker. We've got Adam in the Apollo suit sticker. And my personal favorite, Adam in the alien spacesuit sticker. Get yours now, tested-store.com.